Oh, there we go.
There we go. Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Gorley, and I lead the. Cannot hear me? Is this better? Thought I knew it wasn't working. Is that better? Yes. I thought that was my first question. Can anybody hear me? Because I can barely hear myself, which is unusual. Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Gorley, and as the announcer said, I am the head of North America marketing for small business and mid-market, and thrilled to have here with me today Kay Galloway, who is the director of marketing and design for the Daytona Beach Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. What a
Thank you.
name.
Good morning. Thank you.
In true TikTok fashion, we're going to get into talking about an authentic story here with Kay, who's going to tell us about her experiences with the Daytona Beach area CVB and using TikTok. But before we do that, want to just go through a couple of opportunities to talk and kind of level the playing field. I know that TikTok is an area where a lot of you probably are already investigating, or if you're not already on the platform, I want to give you some insights and kind of the latest and greatest on what is happening in the TikTok world, specifically as it relates to travel. So this is me again. So TikTok 101. I'm sure y'all have heard this before, but TikTok is one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing, social media platform. And we have earned a place in the lives of over 170 million users in the United States of America. And they are spending more than a movie's worth of time on TikTok daily. So imagine watching a movie when you're done with work or before work or during work. And that's how much time people are spending on TikTok every day. And I love this fact here. This is a little bit of a debunking fact. Over half of our user base is over the age of 30. So gone is the days of TikTok being a dance-only app or a kids app, but really half the people that are consuming that information, that's 170 million users, are over the age of 30. And I am a proud member of that group.
Me too. Me too.
And this continues to explode globally. We have 1 billion active users worldwide, and especially for tourism. I know sometimes when you're looking even at Daytona Beach, you're not just looking in your local state, your local country, your local region. You're looking globally to really drive those heads on beds and whatnot. We're in 27 languages and 150 countries and regions around the world. So let's talk about travel talk. This is what we call, book talk, travel talk. It's the trend. Travel is a big trend for us on TikTok. A couple of stats. So this year compared to last year, we actually have over 50% more travel content than we did year to date. Additionally, creators are posting over 50% more videos, and our audiences are consuming over 27% more content. So travel is hot and going on TikTok. It's where travel inspiration becomes travel experiences. So over 60% of TikTok users agree that they visit their destination because they discovered them on TikTok. Here's a couple examples. Jacket Potatoes in Preston in England. Thailand gets some TikTok stars to boost tourism. And then the return of the cruise, thanks to TikTok, Gen Z, an icon of the seas, again, is in that over 30 group. I'm a big cruise lover, and it's exciting to see that the cruises are going to live on past me. I have a fun story about the Jacket Potato tram in Preston. So the other day, my husband had no idea I was doing this. He came in the living room. He goes, "Hey, have you heard of this guy? He makes like 150,000 baked potatoes. He has all these ovens. He's in the UK. When we go the next time, we have to stop by. This is amazing." He's like, "It's the grossest looking thing where he puts baked beans on it, but I have to try it." And so, because beans on toast is a big thing there, my husband doesn't like them. But he was like, "We have to try this. This is amazing." And I thought, that is crazy because I'm literally going to talk about that next week. So in my own household, in my own living room, it's prevailing and persisting. So TikTok is the discovery engine that sparks interest in new destinations and drives visits. So basically, TikTok sparks my interest visiting destinations that I've not considered. 83% of people make that statement. 60% of people visit new destinations because they discovered them through travel content on TikTok. That is a lot of people. When you compare that to the 170 million users, we're talking about millions of people. So it's not just about getting, again, heads on beds. I love that saying, but also making sure that we're inspiring, new destinations, new ways to think. And I know Kay will talk about this later, but you were even saying backstage, like, Florida has so much to offer, and the opportunity to just spark that interest with new people and new audiences who maybe don't have a perception of Daytona Beach yet. And it's an itinerary building search engine for communities to find experiences that fit their need. I use TikTok a lot for search. If you have not used it for search, I encourage you to. Even things like those trends where, hey, type in your book talk boyfriend or your dream, I think it's Disney, your dream Disney man. I got Flynn from Rapunzel. It was very exciting. But for travel, this is where people are going to find out what to do in different locations, like Europe and Nashville. I personally found a really great speakeasy here in Vegas that I would have never known about. It was hidden if I hadn't done a search. So people are doing this more and more. And I want to talk a little bit about TikTok being the full journey. It's not just about lower funnel conversions or sparking that inspiration, but it's really about creating and shaping that bucket list and then really helping to drive that through to booking. So here's a really great example where we're talking about travel and parents. We know that that's a big demographic for y'all. It is a group of people who are looking for kid-friendly destinations, looking for new ideas, ways to make it easy to travel with kids. I don't know about y'all, but I remember when I was a child, my parents did not like to take us on vacation because it was a big deal. But what we're noticing from trends is that there are ways to make it seem easy and build that trust that, yes, you can take your kids to this place. You understand what it looks like. You understand really well what the different destinations look like, what the amenities are like. And TikTok really gives you that opportunity to have first-hand view on what those experiences and those life memories really are for you and your family. And so then going into consideration, that's where you can provide detailed information about those kid-friendly offerings that makes you top of mind. So what sets you apart? Why is it something that's really interesting for you? A really great story from my own family is my mother wanted to do something special for my nephew, and he is a bug lover, and she started getting all these TikToks where you could do butterfly release. So it was at the local botanical garden in Dallas. I say local, in Texas is a 2.5-hour drive, but for us, that's nothing. So we decided to all go there because she just kept seeing all these videos of these kids releasing butterflies and just this look of awe on their face. And she just thought, I want that for my grandson. And so we all trekked over to Dallas for 4 days. We ate, we dined, we had a good time. We went and saw movies. We did all these things together, all based around hoping to see this butterfly release and my nephew's reaction. And then building and running some strong CTAs and promoting some targeted offers towards those parents can help drive bookings. I know that not always can you control what those bookings are, but there are opportunities to say, how do you partner with the hotels, with the restaurants to follow up, maybe retarget, maybe share some of the insights you have to help drive through to those bookings. And then, like I said, we can film our own aha moment, our own awareness moment. On TikTok, people love to document their lives and share it out again. So it's not just about getting that first inspiration and driving all the way down to the full funnel, but then those are the same people who had such a great experience that lived up to their expectations. They're turning around and posting pictures themselves to just build that cycle of more content to get more people excited about what you're doing. So, on to the really good stuff. Thank you for going on that journey with me. I'm excited to have Kay here with us. I'm gonna show a couple of videos here. I really hope the sound works here, of some of the great content that Kay and her team have developed before we jump in.
Let's get ready for a Daytona beach trip. The beaches here are so beautiful. I cannot wait to get there. I'll definitely bring my sunscreen because we'll be there all day doing activities. I'm especially excited to go surfing. If you want to have fun like me, book your hotel stay today.
Vem passar o dia com a gente em Daytona Beach. Visitamos o Museu da Fotografia e ele sempre tem exibições super legais. Mas a gente tava morrendo de fome depois da viagem, então fomos comer em uma lanchonete temática super famosa. Fomos andar lá na Beach Street, onde tem vários brechós, lojinhas super legais e, claro, um café para dar uma energia. Terminamos o dia aproveitando o sol na praia, ficamos vendo os surfistas e jogando vôlei até dar a hora de voltar pro hotel. Salve esse vídeo e acesse daytonabeach.com para planejar sua próxima viagem.
I love that. I understood street, energy, and Daytona Beach.
Just said Daytona Beach is awesome. That's all it said.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Kay, for being
Of
here.
course.
Let's get started with, tell us a little bit about your TikTok journey. Why did you decide to start with the platform? What was kind of the beginning of your exploration into
Sure. It's interesting. We manage 16 social media channels for our CVB, which is a lot, right? It is a lot. But we do things. We actually own one of the largest motorcycle rallies in the state, as well as doing leisure, and we also step in the M&C space and sports, so it's a lot. And we've been on this journey to reach 1 million followers. And how do you do that? What is the best way of doing it? And so we really started stepping into the social space, doubling down, working with an agency that would, if we pushed them, they went on the journey with us. So we had some lofty goals, and TikTok was a part of it because the rise of TikTok happening and the way we could tell stories. And let's be real, we're a visual society and video sells. And it's the easiest way to influence. So with TikTok, and I have to say, TikTok has really changed the industry for all social. We call it TikTokification. I don't know if that's the word you use. You should brand it, of course. But really, being a part of it, being relevant. Relevance gets us consideration. Consideration gets us to a booking. And that is our model we've been standing on. So TikTok has been a great partner. They offer a lot of packages, a lot of different ways. You never think about it. You think it from an organic position to a paid position. But then you guys offer the 2 examples of videos that we saw today. We work with TikTok Creator Exchange. That is a program that many of us have had influencers in market. We are finding content creators, and let's be honest, it's taking up a lot of our time. It is a lot to take on. With that program, you guys help us find those content creators. We interact with them, but we can also, as that first video showed, they weren't even in our market, but they're creating the content that is interesting, packing 101, what you should bring, those kinds of to-do lists. As we are exposing the brand underneath, we capture our own content, we provide it over, we get to interact, we make sure it's on point, and it became easy. We featured almost 8 content creators, did not take up a lot of time under the brand and under your standards. It worked well for us. The other one is Portuguese, running in those languages as we have been trying to reach the Brazil market. We're only an hour from Orlando, and that's a wonderful thing, and it's a complicated thing, right? But the Portuguese or Brazil market has been going to Orlando and Miami, but we're only an hour away. So how can we capture them in our destination? Well, first off, speak their language, reach them in their language, and from that video, we carry them over into our site in content created in their language. It is a program that, I'll be honest, we've run very little in paid media and have seen huge exposure. So those kinds of programs have been very beneficial for us in driving traffic for Daytona Beach.
No, I love that story, specifically how easy it was for you, because sometimes people think getting on TikTok is really challenging because of the creative, but there are tools like the Creative Exchange, there are teams who are ready and willing to help, and I don't even know if you've heard of it yet. We have a new tool called Symphony, where you can take these ads, recut them, and even dub them and have avatars that talk and tell the story, but I know we want to have authenticity in going around to different places as well. So Really, really interesting. I'm curious a little bit. You've mentioned, backstage. I mentioned that you had been talking about the younger generation, but I believe you had some success with some like an unexpected people group in age group in your activity.
Sure. What's been great is in 2024, we looked at it quarter by quarter, what we were doing with TikTok and what the results are. I'll have to say, I'm the one that's showing up more than anybody else. So Gen X, who's Gen X out there, right? That's who's showing up in TikTok for us first, followed by millennials. So it does surprise people. I will tell you, my children beg me all the time from another room, Mom, please get off TikTok. Or, Mom, my friends, they're seeing your videos. It's so embarrassing, which means I'm striking a good nerve, right? And if my daughter likes my video, like,
You've won.
You've
won life at
like,
that point.
I told her prior to this, guess what? I'm presenting with TikTok. She's like, no way. You're lying. It's not happening. So, TikTok is here to stay. It's really a great brand to be a part of. But I'm telling you, it is not the young kids. And no, I'm not going to dance on TikTok. I wish I could, maybe. I don't know. But it's generationals. It's across the platform. So, and it might be that enough of us are here that the young kids might leave after a while. But for here, right now, you are reaching multiple audiences. And that's important, especially for Gen X and millennials, where they are spending the most dollars in travel. That's the audience we want to talk to.
That's great. And I would contest that you're not a dancer. We were jamming out back there to some dua right before this. She can dance, and she's got great taste in music. So one of the things that you mentioned was results. I'd be very curious to hear. I know, like, you've done some studies, you've done some validation of the ads and how you've been running your platform campaigns. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen happen?
Yeah, I think one of our slides forward might give us some of our highlights here.
Cool. Thank you.
In 2024,
Yes,
you can see we reached about 25 plus million users, 270 million total impressions. But the two videos you saw earlier, one of them drove singularly 30,000 users or impressions right into our website, and the other one had the highest click-through rate. So those are the numbers with how we measure to make sure that it's working. The 3 languages is super important. I will tell you, search is really an interesting avenue, especially for TikTok. We know we're struggling in the Google space and what we're paying for search engine marketing for sure. We looked at some of our numbers internally for the search in that beta test. It's around 20 cents for TikTok, and Google it's much higher, 3 times maybe sometimes on a good day, sometimes a little less. But planning is really the interesting part for search. My story to tell, and this was probably 4 years ago, I was in New York at a show, had a new colleague with us, and he said, I want to go to Chinatown, but I don't know where to go. And I said, okay. So I just jumped on TikTok, best place to eat in Chinatown. And I just watched video after video, and I wrote down restaurants. And then the next one, I wrote down, and I wrote down. And then I found the commonality between, and we ended up in a place called Super Taste, hole in the wall, felt like Soup Nazi from Seinfeld. We were afraid to ask for anything, but had the best experience. So now when I travel, anytime I travel, I'm going to Japan later this year, I am saving and building itineraries. That's one thing, but what I'm really learning is, like, being in Japan, you want to go to this bamboo garden, but hey, don't go at this time, go at this time to have the best experience. So TikTok has now become a great tool in planning to give you the best experience. And we need to be providing some of that content, either itineraries, things to do, authentic experiences. And as we see them start to save them, you go, wow, now I see how this can work beyond just being a social platform.
And what I really like about what you said, it's about having someone experience and you can see how to live that out. Like, I really resonated. I think it was Rachel earlier that talked about travel anxiety. Like, you're building the trust to say, when I get there, I'll know how to get from point A to point B. Even trying to walk from my hotel over here, it's just next door, and I even forgot in that short amount of time that you really can't walk anywhere in Vegas.
You need a taxi.
I should have done my TikTok search of how to get around in Vegas again.
Right.
And I appreciate that, you're a beta tester for search, and you're willing, and you've said this many times, you're willing to go out on a limb a little bit, to try new things, to try different things. And so with the creators and with the beta testers, is there anything that you've tried that, how do you know that it's working? How do you know that it's resonating with your audience?
Well, I think we all see it on social that when you do post either organically or do paid, you get immediate reaction, either a save, a comment, and let's be honest, sometimes we get the raw truth that that is not a great experience or it did not happen for me that way. It's almost a mini focus group, so we can take some of that back with us. But we can also help leverage and build our local businesses and give them the exposure that they're never going to get. And then when you see, like, we have a beautiful place called The Loop, and it's a part of Tomoka State Park, but you're cruising along like a riverway and canopies of trees. And when we post that in any shape or form, it explodes because people go, oh my God, I love it. It's beautiful, an escape. We put great music behind it with TikTok, and it's reshared, and it's reshared, and it's saved, and people add it to their itinerary. That's when we know it's working, and when we strike that nerve, we go, wait a second, that worked. Now, how can we repurpose it again and present it in a new way? And we continue to do that. That's something that's really important to us. Going through it's hard for us. We all are out pushing as much content, but you've got to pause long enough to say, did it work? Did it not? Is this what they love? Is this what they're looking for? Let's continue to give it to them, and they will continue to be our ambassadors and share that content for us.
I love that. And does it work, I think, is the key. And I know that you all ran a brand lift study and saw some results. I'd love to hear a little bit about that. And I think you've done your own internal surveys as well. What are the results?
Yeah, well, definitely with the brand lift study, which is great because we were committed all 4 quarters last year to work with TikTok. We saw the lift, and we saw favorability for those to consider to come to the destination. Now, as we look at how social plays into our website, obviously that's our biggest payoff. We were hovering around the 300, 400,000 users, unique users coming into the website. We are now, as we've doubled down in social, we have now moved it to the 600,000, 700,000. And with that, we do campaigns that push to the deals page of our website, and this has helped promote those heads and beds.
Yes.
We can now see our referrals. At some months, we have 100,000 referrals over to our hoteliers. And what our job is we create the inspiration, the consideration. We deliver the guests to the hotel's front door, and they're the ones that can book it. And when they can see our website driving their bookings on the other side, we're always within the top 5, usually in the top 3. That proves what we're doing is working.
That's amazing. Doubling, basically, the activity. That's fantastic.
Yes.
What a great metric. One last question I have for you is kind of talking about how you have been pulling together what's next for the brand. Like, what are you thinking next in terms of the opportunities, in terms of what you're excited to do? What are the things that maybe even our TikTok teams have helped you to kind of open your eyes to what's next in this platform and its possibilities?
Yeah, for us, we have decided this year for us, we brought in a full-time digital content creator on staff. We have set the expectations to either be posting video, photo, resharing content on the major platforms, maybe up to 5 times a day. It's a lot. But we understand the results of how that is affecting our website and traffic. But we also work with your team, I will say, in the social space. TikTok has been readily available to talk to us about new opportunities, new types of programs. I think now we're looking at a Disney, NBC connection that while people might be looking at some content from Jimmy Fallon, we can be rolling right within that. And it gives us some new space that we've never been there before. So I think TikTok is very innovative, and you're willing to look for new things and not just stay with like, okay, well, spin this and then like boost this post or spark it, and away we go. You're giving us new avenues to explore, and that's important because you're not just sitting in the same space, but you're pushing us forward and giving us new opportunity for exposure.
That's wonderful to hear. I will say, working at TikTok, it's one of the most innovative places, and I will say your team is the TikTok team on your side. They're some of the smartest people I've ever worked with. Excuse me. On that, I do want to shameless plug. There is a QR code up there. If you're interested in learning how you too can talk to someone from TikTok on how you can have success like Kay has, scan that, fill out the form. Someone will be there to talk to you about what are the possibilities, what's the opportunities. We have a wonderful team. I work with them every day. They genuinely care about making your business grow. So Kay, I just want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing this stage. I'm truly honored, and your story has been fantastic, and you're doing amazing work at the Daytona Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thank you. You give me a lot of street cred with my kids, so.
Well, I have some swag. Maybe we can hook you up and make
yes.
maybe we can get them liking more of your videos.
Right,
So.
right. But we do have a few minutes.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody has any questions for us. Does anybody have any
Yes,
questions? Yes, no? Anybody doing a TikTok dance? You want to do that for us?
I see one right there.
All right.
This question is for Kay. I'm curious how much of what you guys do on TikTok is paid versus organic?
We have made a significant investment when it comes to paid social. So out of our total budget of all the social platforms, we're about 35% in on the budget, if that can give you an idea. But we understand when we look at our website traffics, both organic and pay do significant numbers for us. So we're on both sides of that business all day. Does that answer it? Okay, good.
Your eyes are fantastic.
I'm trying.
I'm like, I can see nothing with the
lighting
the
here.
light.
What's your take on being verified versus not verified?
I don't know.
It is a question that like no one has an answer for. So
Yeah.
I was just curious on opinions.
There are a lot of successful people who are not verified. Right. I will say it that way. I do know that being verified comes with a level of trust. Sometimes it can be perceived as that just any of the checks, right? We know we love the checks. But there are a lot of successful businesses, travel brands, travel creators who are highly successful without it. So I wouldn't look to that as the root cause of anything that you might be seeing happening. At the end of the day, the way you can really succeed on the platform is, do you understand your customer? Are you providing that authentic, really creative, inspiring joy experience that's going to help them grow? So that would be my response to that.
Yeah, and by George, people are getting really smart. They'll do they'll take a photo and put the check mark in, and then you realize it, like, wait, is that really verified or not? Like, people are playing into that game. I think long term, and this is just my theory, it's going to be less, and this is not about the check mark, but talking about followers, I think it's going to be less about having followers and fans. It's about the content that's resonating. That's going to be the most important. And TikTok is giving us a position, you know, Meta was all about social connectivity, and TikTok is not. So if you're watching on your channel and your content that you're reacting to is about beaches and flip-flops and country music, we hope to show up there, right? It gives us that advantage that's not a social connection. And that's where I think it's going to be the next level where we're at. I should say we're probably already there, but it's not going to be about your fans and followers. When we talked about trying to reach 1 million, that was a goal, but I think the goal is starting to shift again, that we just need to be the relevant topic and show up to the people that are asking for it at that moment.
Yeah, we're out of time, but the last insider tip I will give you is it's called 2Q. Easy to remember, 2 Qs: quality content and quantity of content. So get people talking about it. Get people talking about the unique experiences, about how it's something that they can't find anywhere else, much like that video coming around the bend. This is beautiful, wonderful thing. That's the insider tip: quantity and quality. Great. All right. Thank you, everybody.
You.
Appreciate your time.